Notions of financial accountability date back to the ancient Greek philosopher Aristotle, who wrote, and I quote, "To protect the treasury from being defrauded, let all public money be issued openly in front of the whole city, and let copies of accounts be deposited in the various wards," unquote. From the quote, it is clear that transparency is a major issue in financial accountability. Public money must be and be seen to be spent in an accountable fashion. I wish to stress this important point that budgets in the public sector are a political exercise in the final instance. Hence, a budget is expected to state clearly the purposes of expenditures in a manner comprehensible to the political authority, which can then be evaluated in the budget in full. In a democracy like the Government of Barbados, this means legislative approval. In our instance, included in the essence of expenditure is a sub-program's Storm Water Management Plan, which will be used to bring the grant to account that will be approved by Parliament. A line item will also be created under the revenue section of the estimates in order to bring to account the grant funding that will receive from the United States Agency for International Development. Regarding the project, it is critical that it will be completed within the allocated time period and budget. To accomplish this, we have the following: Cabinet approving the setting up of a project management and coordination unit in which this project will fall under. A procurement specialist will be recruited quickly to be responsible for the preparation of all the tender notices involving tender for studies, tender for detailed designs, and tender for implementation of project. The ministry will develop performance indicators to measure the results for each component and establish baseline measurements and targets to assess the impact of proposed interventions.
I want to particularly thank Minister Lowe for the role he has played in making this day forward. Minister Lowe came to see me in my office in the embassy, and we had a wonderful, pleasant conversation about our younger days as students in the schools. I will say, however, Minister Lowe, upon coming to visit you in your office, the 10th floor trumps my 3rd floor. And I will be available to have a little side office if you can find your way clear to do that. This cooperation is an important part of President Obama's global climate change assistance program, which aims to strengthen national and regional institutions as they strive to adapt to the negative effects of climate change. Stemming from the Copenhagen Accords and the Cancun Agreements, this funding represents the U.S. government's commitment to help countries address the causes of climate change and to adapt to its impact. Through this action today, we are proud to partner with the Ministry of Environment and Drainage on priority issues that you identified as affecting the country's economy and the health and the well-being of your communities. Or shall we say the health and well-being of our communities, and I'll tell you why later. As we all know, the Caribbean region has been identified as one of the most vulnerable areas in the world affected by climate change. Region-wide, and here in Barbados, a combination of increased air and sea temperatures, more intense and frequent storms, changes in the precipitation patterns, and rising sea levels all threaten key sectors of the economy, including tourism, agriculture, fishing, as well as critical transportation infrastructure and other national assets. Residents and businesses suffer the effect of serious flooding that occurs in Whole Town, for example, every time we have a major downpour. I live in Whole Town. For that reason I say our. I live in the Whole Town, my area, and I have personally seen firsthand the flooding and its disruption to local communities and economic activity. The program that we're initiating with the ministry today aims to reduce such flooding by improving how water is managed in the Whole Town area, channeling stormwater away from roads, homes, and businesses, and increasing the storage of rainwater for other important uses such as agriculture.
The program is being funded by both governments through cash inputs, in-kind contributions, and direct grants totaling $7,049,000 United States dollars. I take this opportunity to express my appreciation to the various agencies and departments which contributed to the realization of this project, and the steering committee which will oversee the project for the next 3 years. I should like to take the opportunity to thank the management and staff of the Coastal Zone Management Unit, as well as the leadership and staff of the Drainage Division for the lead role they took in ensuring that this project came to fruition. As you are aware, Barbados is classified among the 15 most water-scarce countries in the world. The development constraints and risks associated with this condition are expected to be further exacerbated by global warming, increased climate variability, and long-term consequences of climate change. There is therefore an urgent need to formulate and implement practices geared towards addressing this challenge. The Water Resource Management and Flood Resilience Climate Change Adaptation Program is one such response and is an integral component to mitigate these effects on Barbados' sustainable development agenda.